Hello, everybody, and welcome to Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Kyra. How are y'all doing today? I hope everybody had a beautiful, wonderful, and exciting day. We are head, bought, we are here. So let's get this party started. Let's bring out Mr. Roshan Davis.
Do that. All pieces. Good evening, everybody.
Oh,
Good evening.
peace in the middle. Oh, you funny. Good evening.
Good evening. Peace to
Good evening,
everybody. I got my
everybody.
regular cup, so don't ask where my candy conversations cup is. It's over there somewhere. I'll get it. Don't worry about it.
This the time you supposed to bring out your stats. This is the time for the statistics
About what?
for our conversation.
I'm talking about my candy conversation cup.
Yeah, and what do the S stand for on that cup? Not just Sean.
Super. Stellar. Sexy.
Oh, all right now. I think Sean been feeling himself lately. A
Ah, after
lot.
my birthday, I'm
A
amazing. You
lot,
crazy?
a lot.
I'm amazing. Super amazing. You crazy? All right, bring my boy out.
All right, everybody. We all know we can't do what we do without our wonderful co-host, the newly married, the newlywed, the deacon.
All right now. Okay. let's first start off and say, Kyra, you look very studdish today.
What? What?
Y'all didn't
Oh,
see that.
oh God. Where we going?
Set it off to the left, y'all. Set it off to the right. Now set it off.
Whoa.
Set it off.
What just happened?
Kyra cute. You know, you
I
know,
I
I'm
agree.
always cute.
you're right, but you better be
My
careful because
mama
you
ain't
know
had no ugly
now.
kids.
Now as since what's his name Drewski. They got a whole bunch of they got stud slayers out now, so you be careful. They might think you might be up to be slayed.
I don't know what's going on right now, but I ain't
Hey,
getting in there.
Janice.
Oh God. My sister. My sister don't indulge in this type of behavior.
Janice already cussing Eric out.
For what? Don't cuss me out. She must be on IG cussing me out.
She
Mm.
is.
Oof. That's a
We is back, y'all. We back on IG. It is working.
mm.
It is
I'm still
working because we couldn't
I'm
get on IG to save our lives.
I'm still on Derek comment. Mm.
Derek could
She
be all
cute.
right.
She cute.
And you know what's funny? In my past, I have had a stud came at me strong, and I ain't take. I didn't, and it was a long time ago. I didn't. You know me.
What
I
you
waved it off
mean
like a
they
pick,
came at you?
Well, she
like
might not have been a
strong.
stud. She might not have been she may not have been one. She could have
I
been a
don't
Kyra
know.
who just
But
got
I
just
kind
got her
of.
little braids.
It was no disrespect. I didn't go about it disrespectful, but it was like whoa. But just imagine. Nah, never mind. I quit.
Yeah, I
I
ain't messing
quit.
with you, sure. You said never
Nah, it's
mind.
real.
Fast as hell. Like I
Because he know he just
digress.
got
Y'all
his
clear
grass
my
back.
lawn up.
He just got his grass back to the way he like it. He like, let me leave
He
this
is
alone.
not having it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
digress. Stepping away.
Yeah. Came at me kind of
Never
strong
mind,
too.
never mind, never mind.
Yeah, it came at me kind of strong. Kind of strong. I let it go. Single man too.
It be like that. It be like that.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. Tonight's
Yeah, let's get it
conversation
started.
is about the political. Why are we giving away our? Sure, Janice is our Instagram, and she said, "Don't start no stuff." What color? What color was she?
Ah, tell Sister Janice to stop and be quiet. Tell her to stop.
Janice is funny.
Mm-mm. So, didn't you say Kamisha was Kamisha tapped in already?
I don't think so.
Okay. Kamisha tapped in. Make sure she call it.
Kamisha sleep.
Well, Sister Janice, I'm done with that.
With
No, tell Sister Janice I'm done with that thought. No. That was funny. But
she can hear you. We live on we live on Instagram. We got our Instagram back.
okay. Nah.
No,
I'm not giving any information on that. Just know that one came at me. I'm not giving no information. Just know that one came at me a little strong. Really, really strong.
Janice says good. She says good. Proud of you, my brother. All right, everybody. Let's get into this conversation. And this is basically, I don't know where this is going, but we're going to figure it out because it might go left and it might go right, but let's just see what happens. So, why are we giving away our voices? What does that mean, Derek?
Oh, you just coming directly for me? You just coming straight for the neck? That's what we doing.
Yes.
I like it.
The question is, are we giving away our voice? And the answer is, the short answer is yes. Of course it is. But has the political disconnect, has it been set up that way? Has it been set up that way? Is that the initial plan? And I would like to say, yes. A political, if you take away the power to vote, you take away your effect to affect change. And what better way to not affect change is by disconnecting a people from the due process. So we have to be mindful that even though we can come up with 15 different excuses of why we don't uh, become a part of the process, why we don't trust politics, why we don't trust politicians, why we don't Why don't we do a plethora of things? But at the end of the day, um, we realize that we are giving away something that at one point in time, if we go back in our history, was taken from us. There's a big difference between something being taken and you giving it to them. So was it set up that way? Was the original plan like, you know what? Let's make them feel like they don't have a voice. Let's make them feel like they can't trust the people. Let's make them feel let's make them feel all these different ways. And as we make them feel these ways, they will give it to us themselves. They will give it to us freely, and it won't be a fight.
Okay, Darlene says, do we have a voice? People seem to be followers. Why
everybody can't be leaders? Everybody can't be leaders. So I don't even understand. Like, let's be realistic when we say people seem to be followers, because you can't have 300 leaders. You got to have people who are willing to follow, but then but as followers, you have to know who to get behind. And if we take the feeling or the emotionalism out of the process, we talked about that amongst ourselves. We take away the emotion, the feelings behind it. We take away, I don't like this person because I can't talk, because when I saw him in Piggly Wiggly, he didn't want to, he acted like he ain't know me, or I'm not gonna follow this person because he think he better than me. I don't follow this person because I try to holler at her sister, and her sister wasn't trying to give me no play. So I ain't trying to get down with that. We make up so many excuses to emotionalize our decisions rather than looking at the facts of how do we move our people forward and who's the best representative to speak up and hold our representation well. But we don't do that. We get behind whoever is a friend of the friend, or whoever is your cousin, or whoever is, I went to school with them, not who's going to be the best possible voice. But the political disconnect, I think it's a piece that
I think that it's Quality says the problem is people are emotionally making decisions and they are blindly supporting and following.
Absolutely.
Wait, what's going on?
It's an emotion. This is emotional process, and that's why the disconnect. That's why the disconnect happens, because everything is so tied up into your emotions. So when you say that the system is rigged, but we knew the system was rigged years before we even knew. History showed us the system was rigged. It doesn't stop the process that our ancestors fought for, that leaders in the past fought for. They understood that the system was rigged, but they also understood that there was a power in your voice. We look when you look at pieces such as you look at voter fraud and all these other things, right? But the whole idea of these pieces is to mull over the voice of the people. So if I come in and I have a thousand voices, it's always going to be louder. 1,000 voices is always going to be louder than 500 mail-ins.
That is true.
But we allow for that. So. But we allow for the data. We don't even look at the data. When you allow for the data to change your outlook, because if I look at an election and I say, oh, Derek ran Derek ran and Derek lost by 500 million votes, but he was able to galvanize 1,200 votes from people. What do we do? What do we do with that? We don't do anything with that. We don't realize that we were able to galvanize 1,200 people to show up and vote. So now, if he lost by 500, now what am I doing that next election? What is my goal? My goal is not going to be 1,200 people. My goal is going to be 2,000 people, because then they will have to. Then I'm going to show a different. I'm going to show a what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody give me the word. I'm going to show a trend. So if my next goal is, okay, I need to get 2,000 people to the polls to vote. I get 2,000 people to vote, and even if I lose by 100 million votes, it's showing a trend that no matter how high I get with the voices of the people, these silent votes are getting more. So now we need to start looking. Now you can have a voice and say, all right, let's start looking at this process. But we don't do anything with the data. All we do is get mad at the data, and then we don't want to do it anymore. We take our political ball and go home.
Darlene says, don't you think if we got facts and understanding, we can better make decisions and hold people accountable?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course.
Sean, what's your take?
You want to tap me in?
Right. When Sean is always the first one to go. You try to do that, do me straight at the throat.
Oh God.
Well, you was very chatty, so I thought you wanted to talk.
Okay.
All
right.
First, you did that because you felt some type of way about the. Yeah, I told you it was cute. You ain't gotta take it serious.
First thing I would
Carla.
say.
So Roshan, Carla says, "Stop being so quiet. Speak your mind."
Oh no, I was taking everything in. Trust me. You already know me. I'm taking my notes and everything. First thing I would say, she already know me. Don't play with the kid. That's my sister. I love her. It's my sister. She is no holds barred. It is what it is. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and it needs to be said sometimes because a lot of people don't say what they need to say. It's the same as Darlene to get the real conversation started. Now, what I would say is some of the biggest problems is popularity, allegiances, and friendships. Our voices are being depleted because of those things, because we appease and we allow our friendships and allegiances and popularity to take over versus what's the real issues. And we coddle our friends. We move with our friends. And if it don't affect us, then it really doesn't matter to us. If it doesn't if it doesn't land on our lawn, because it don't affect me. And that's one of the biggest problems. If it doesn't affect me directly, ain't got nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
But we succumb to and we coddle our friends, our allegiances, and popularity. You can have somebody that's popular run for office in a certain city and win with no political views, no intelligence, or knowledge of what the office actually needs for you to be successful. People don't understand what it takes to deal with not just, let's say, if a if somebody that's coming in, a land developer is coming in, buying up all of the properties or whatever. But what about contracts? You know, what about all these contracts? We need contracts with DPW. We need contracts with police. We need contracts with fire. We need garbage companies to come in. We need social services. We need the elderly to be taken care of. Patterson is the county seat. So there's a lot that goes on in Patterson that the average person doesn't even realize what actually goes on in Patterson. You don't even know what task force office is. So you got a lot of people that may get into certain races because of popularity or what they may think, and not even realize that it's a lot that goes into this. And we need to start picking people because of their knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the balls that they got to go against the grain of an agenda, and not just because this is my friend. Patterson get a lot of transitional aid. Patterson is in charge of Patterson Public Schools. There's a lot of money that passed through Patterson. Patterson Fire alone, Patterson Police alone. I'm not going to say Patterson Police alone. I'm not going to say. You got to get rid of that. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know the budget 100%, right? But economic empowerment is huge in our city. So let's just say the people that take the tests for police and fire. Police and fire is the biggest budgets in the city. Do we even know what the residency policies are? So whereas Patterson residents can take those positions to put that dollar back into the circle, the economic circle. We talk about a lot of stuff like even when it's winter time and the streets are not, you know, salted the way they're supposed to be salted, and all of these different things. We get distracted by some of the most silliest things. We get distracted by the most silliest things. But I would say, like, even with myself, I'm friends with a lot of people. I interact with a lot of people. You know, somebody even said to me, they introduced me the other day. They was like, "Oh, this is one of the MVPs of Patterson," and I'm like, "No, I don't like that. I don't like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what that means. I mean, not just to you, but to whoever's hearing it. I don't like that. But I understand when you have some people that have their agenda versus what our agenda is. It's no secret that Patterson is in a bind as far as economics, as far as poverty, as far as you know, the shootings and all of those things that go on. Like even now to this point, like Patterson is down as far as homicides and stuff like that. But one killing is more than enough to me because it's uncalled for. You understand what I'm saying? So, and let's take the people that's out there that's running for these offices. I've advised people that's running. I've written campaigns for people, not personally, but just on a grander scale, just to have conversations in places. And the one thing that I always tell people when I'm, you know, just having conversations, is campaigning doesn't stop. Campaigning is an illusion to me, because you should be doing the work 24/7, 365. If you're campaigning in October when the election is in November, then you're not really for the people. Your work should be 365, 24/7. So if you're holding a campaign, I'm really not checking for that, because you're just knocking on doors and talking to people in a certain time to get the reaction, which is the votes. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing 100% of the time, 365, then I trust you, because I know from longevity, your character, integrity, because you can only fake for a certain amount of time. You can only be fake for a certain amount of time, and it's gonna run out. But if this is your heart and you want to do the work for the city of Patterson or any city, it's going to be in you 365, not just when election time comes. I don't like the people that come around election time and that's the only time that they see you. I don't care for those people, because you just want my vote.
Mm-hmm.
I know the people that's in Patterson that's doing the work. I know the Carlas. I know the Darlenes. I know the Valeries. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know those grassroots people that's grinding in the city every day, all day. I see them online. I see them in person. That's why I love those people. I don't care if we disagree on certain things. And, you know, I know what your heart is. That's why I always say, and I said to you before this, Derek, and I'll step back after this. That's why I said to you, if I ran for office right now, there's going to be some people that don't vote for me because of something that they may not like that I said, not because of my work. And some people is nowhere near parallel to the work that I've done in the city. And we're talking about the carnivals that we've hosted. Let's say, like, even with me and you, the Fright Fest and the Halloween Fest that we've hosted, the Christmas events that we've hosted, you know, even teaching kids for economic empowerment, the civil service test prep stuff that we've hosted, you know, giving away coats and giving away food and, you know, just giving away knowledge, you know, cooking for kids that's getting out of school, and we doing the back to, you know, the end of school year cookouts, you know, all of those different things. All of the work that I've done in the city of Patterson, all of the toys, like I can give away 1,000 toys on Monday, and because you don't agree with something that I said on Tuesday, you won't vote for me because of your emotions. But you know my work. We got to get away from emotionally attaching ourselves to nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We got to get away from that, because there's a lot of people that come in and channel your emotions, and they may give away some turkeys, or they may hug some people for a short amount of time, and we'll love them for this short amount of time. And what happens is we vote them in against our best interests, and now we're losing because of that, which is horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had friends, which I thought was friends, and I've had accomplices, or not accomplices. I'm sorry, I've used the wrong word. What word I'm trying to use? Who cares? People that I'm just cool with. Yeah, people that I'm just cool with. That I felt was cool, but eventually we wasn't cool, because your agenda was more than what I thought your overall idea for what our community was. And I don't care for that. I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm not running for anything. I'm not looking to run for anything. The people that is running for whatever, if you're good people, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, I'm gonna support you all the time. Now, I'll be back, but I digress.
You'll be back, but you digress.
For now,
Nah, you speaking all truth. I ain't had nothing. There was nothing to even debate off.
No, I think everything you said is pretty accurate.
It's pretty
And
accurate.
true.
And true.
Oh, what is going on?
whatever's going on over there, get rid of that.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Is it that? Can you guys
No,
hear me?
we hear you. We talking. He talking about the TV in the background.
No, whatever. There's an echo when she talks because of the extra Kyra that's there.
No, the extra Kyra.
Ah, it's,
The extra the extra Kyra is the voice, right? So that means that the video Kyra has to mute and turn off the microphone.
yeah, that's what I did. I just did. All right. So I agree with everything Sean said, and it's actual, it's factual. Um, all right, Miss Carla. Um, and
What
I
she
and
said.
I do and oh, she said instead of them giving away seasonal items for votes, how about write that
Legislation.
there you go, and secure the contract so I can not only buy my own turkey, but so I can donate one as well. And Darlene says, I want our people to think, compare, and be honest instead of loyal. And I think what Darlene said is 100% true. I think it's a lot of misinformation that floats around throughout the years, and people are very much so misinformed about the people that are running. I don't think that a lot of people even know um, about when they should be voting and why they're voting, because they should be voting in every election. But the majority of the time, the only time people really go out and vote is when it's the presidential election. They don't vote in all the other elections. That's why it's such a low count when people going out, because people don't go out and vote. They that don't matter,
That's
but it
big.
does matter when you're picking the people. When you're sitting here complaining about the schools and the lack of everything and resources that these schools don't have, that's your fault because you chose these people to sit on the board. That's part of your elections. The governor, how many people going out to vote next week to see who their new governor gonna be?
I think
I'm
that's
pretty sure
big.
it's not gonna be a lot.
I think that's big too, cousin. That's something that we don't talk about as much. Like, I guess how hard people feel it is to vote against your friend.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's not personal. You know what I mean? You're voting for your life. You're voting for, the best interest of, not just your family, but your community. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So sometimes, you know, you got to vote against some people that you may care for and you may love because you don't share the same opinions and
and
ideologies or
values.
whatever it is. I
Well,
mean,
But that's the
you
thing too. People lose their friends. They get into arguments, and most of the time, I don't do politics. I don't talk about it because I'm a bit about somebody upside their head. But because you get into these big ass arguments for what? Because somebody believes something differently than you. It's like I don't, if I believe in what I believe in and this is what I want to see, so this is the person I'm voting for, it shouldn't be a problem for nobody.
Yeah, because
Because this is what I want to see.
you don't have to agree on everything. And I'll share this because this was something that I really didn't um go public after everything happened, but this was something very public and something that very, it was big to me. Um Presidential Boulevard being named
Uh-huh.
uh a certain thing, a certain after a certain group or whatever, which I didn't have any issues with the group. And I actually spoke with them um after they got off stage, one of the individuals, and I told them that I'll sing your songs in the front row. It has nothing to do with you. Um, it's just something that was done that I just didn't agree with. And you don't have to agree all the time. You don't have to be happy about certain things all the time. But I think the way that it happened, and the only reason why I'm talking about this is because it never was really, spoken in the public in conclusion of what actually happened. So whereas I don't have a problem with the actual group, I don't have a problem with it. I've spoken with them. And even when there was a threat on the actual ceremony, I was the one who shut it down. I don't want no movement. I don't want nobody, going to protest. I don't want nobody, you know, going to try to do anything. Shut it down. I mean, I was the one that made the phone call. I don't know if other phone calls was made. I don't know if other people said things, but I know the phone call that I made. Um, but the thing was, in politics, some people feel that, they want to do certain things, for, what's in their heart, which I can understand. But at the same time, I don't have to agree. And when presidential came into play, um, the people of Presidential Boulevard felt that they wanted to name Presidential Boulevard after somebody who actually, uh, who they felt Presidential Boulevard should be named after, who actually did the footwork, who actually, lived and breathed and, they were there to actually, put the blood, sweat, and tears into, which was actually Dr. Garner. Um, that's who the actual committee wanted to eventually name that after. Now there was other names that came into play, uh, Lester Liverpool, Doris Steele, Dawn Blakely. Um, they wanted those were names that were thrown into play. But the reason why that situation went the way that it went is because we felt like we wasn't a part of the process. It was something that was decided on without the actual committee being part of the process. And that's what the problem was. Nobody read now. I'm one of the chairpersons. Nobody called me on that. Nobody spoke to me. Nobody said to, and you don't have to. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. I'm just Sean. You know, whether you look at Sean as somebody that's a decision maker or an opinion giver. But I didn't receive a phone call on that decision, and that was a problem to some people. And in politics, some people felt like it was a great thing for the community and the people that it was, and some people felt like it was an agenda for some people, or to whereas they were building a resume for themselves. Like it was a lot that was going on. I didn't choose to voice my opinion on any of that. The only thing that I was um, speaking on is what the community and the committee has spoke to me, which was they didn't care for it. They didn't like it. And that's, to me, that's what politics is. Speaking for the people, speaking to the
Mm-hmm.
people, speaking for the people, understanding, even if the people don't understand what is needed and what needs to be spoken about and even put into reality. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't even realize or even know that, know how these things work. But I know within that process, maybe in that sense, I would say somebody that I considered a friend never reached out to me about what was going on. And that's what, let's say, you know, touched me on that aspect and the committee for the greater part. And that was the issue with that. So when it comes to politics, some people feel that some people do for politics to build their agenda and build their resume. And sometimes they look at it to where it's like they don't even understand, they ain't even looking at it in that sense. But, they're just working and working and working and working, which whatever you draw, the conclusion you draw up is what you draw up. But politics in general is about the people. It's about the people. So if you don't attach yourself and understand what the people want and understand what needs to be done for the people and always stay in line with the people, and you got the balls to go against the grain to say, no, this is what the people want, you're going to eventually lose. Because once you lose the people, you lost. And I know that for a fact. Even if you win, because you're within a machine, you lose the people. That's why I always say somebody like Mike Jackson, who's for the people, let's say, right? Even a Benji Wimberly, and I don't want to keep going, right? When you're for the people, because just because I'm for the people don't mean that everybody like me, right? Don't mean that everybody like me. Just like it's people that don't like me. Like I said, if I choose to run right now, there'll be somebody that say, I don't like what he said on Facebook, so I'm not going to vote for him. Discounting all of the things that I've done, all of the toys that I've given out, all of the classes that I've taught, all of the barbecues that I've done, all of the teachings that I've did. They'll eliminate all of those because of a feeling that they had. And they'll base it on a feeling versus, merit and character and integrity and all of these different things. It happens all the time. We base our actions or we move on emotions versus what's logical and what we're supposed to be doing. As far as character, integrity, loyalty, honor, respect, all of those different things. So I'm going to step back again because I've been ranting for a minute. I'm sorry. What Carla say? I know Carla has something to say. I know for a fact Carla has something to say. And Darlene said something. And I love them. But I know they got something to attach to this. That'll bring it home.
The power, it says the power is in the people, not politicians, but it should be. That's what the power should be, in the people and not the politicians. But when you got people who are willing to risk it all for the politicians, that's where the power goes. When you got people who are really you got folks out here really ready to lose it all just because you don't like somebody they support. When we hear rumors of uh, figures in our community who are being attacked on streets because they speak out against somebody, or when we sit and we watch, uh, we read along as words go back and forth on social media between people over these same politicians who, if you, God forbid, died tomorrow, wouldn't even bring Pepsi to the by the house for the family. We have to understand that we're giving them the power because it's not about the voices of the people. It's about the people that I can bring together on my issues, on what I believe in, on the things I believe in. How many people can I galvanize? And when you are, as a politician, when you are able to galvanize multiple people, that's where the power is. So the power should always um, be by the voices of the people. But we freely give the power to the politicians because we're no longer standing next to them first and holding them accountable for the things that they do or the things that they say. We now will go head to head with somebody over them just because they don't agree with something that's something that is said or something that is done. There's folk out here on all parties. Any you can post if we looked at the political monstrosity that we see on a regular basis at locally. You have this group that won't talk to this group because I'm team I'm team Jethro and not team Jeremy. You got cats who will literally invite you outside to the streets to fight because you said something about team Jeremy. When we get that mindset, when we get into the mindset of lynch gangs, we have already given our power to the politicians and we haven't even voted.
But that's the thing. You got to get people out there to vote. It's just people out there that feel like they vote don't matter. Why am I voting? Ain't nothing gonna change. Same people getting into these seats. They not doing nothing.
Hmm.
And that's the reason why they in the seats.
Right?
Because ain't nobody out there voting.
You're
If
absolutely
you
right.
don't like something, you have to be the one to change it. So if you don't like who in the seat, then get him out the seat. The only way you're gonna get him out the seat is if you vote.
Right, but that's why I said we are giving away our power. We're giving away our voice because and that's by design. They want you to get fed up with the system. We don't use
People go,
like I stated earlier, we don't use data to figure out forward movement. Sean said something earlier about we need to be able we have to be willing to vote against friends. And I want to take it a step further. We need to be able to pull a friend to the side and say, you know what? You don't even need to be running. What you running is you running all you're doing is making the situation worse because you're splitting a vote that we need every vote to count.
no, Ray, people are not voting.
Let me take it a step further, Derek, because I agree with that. Um, I agree with that, and not even taking a step further. I was approached by certain people to run for certain offices, and the first thing that I said to them was, I need to get more educated on what the city actually needs, on how the city runs. How does this city run? So you got people that's getting into office that's, flying a plane, building a plane as they're flying it. I don't want to get into office and and say, okay, now I'm going to learn how a contract is. Now I'm going to learn how a purchasing order is. Now I'm going to learn how this is. Now I'm going to learn how that is. Now I want to learn some things. If I choose to run for office, I want to know how these things work beforehand,
Right.
instead of getting in office and then now I'm just a body here,
Right.
taking orders from somebody in the background, because I'm not built like that. That's not what's going to happen.
But
I don't care
but
who
that's
you are.
right. But that's what the original makeup is. The fact of the matter is, I don't want you to know what you're doing, because then you don't. Then if you know what you're doing, then you won't listen to me when I tell you what to do.
Then you're here for a position and not the people.
Right. Right. And that's why people risk going to jail behind voter fraud to do it. All of this is a greater design. We have to be open to the idea of knowing that this is a greater design from beginning. Because if I take your power away from you, there's always going to be a fight. There's going to be a mutiny because I took this and you feel some type of way about me taking it. But if I quietly make you give it to me, there would never be a mutiny because you didn't want it in the first place. You gave me this. You gave me your voice. You gave me your power because I made you get tired of the system. And because you're tired of the system, there's no longer a fight. I'm tired of fighting. So you have a whole bunch of people who are disconnected politically, who say I don't deal with politics. I don't want to have nothing to do with politics. I don't follow politics. I don't care nothing about it. Don't ask me to vote. Don't ask me to come to meetings. Don't ask me to come to city hall meetings. Don't ask me to come to school board meetings. Don't ask me anything. And those disconnected people are the reason. Those people are disconnected and they're just living their lives. And the people who want the power are free to move how they want to move because you have given them your voice.
Let me ask you this. Would you say that some of those people don't mind benefiting from politics, but don't like to be affected by politics directly or dealing with politics directly? Because I'm pretty sure when those checks come in, those checks come in from the government, they don't mind cashing them.
Right.
So when it's time to benefit from, certain things, which I'm not challenging. I'm not challenging anybody. Trust me, I'm not doing that. I just understand that a lot of people don't have a problem with when it benefits them versus when it affects them directly.
Right. If you looked at the last presidential election, majority of the folk, the majority, how did Patterson turn red? Because the people who did come out and vote, the people who did vote, remember that Trump was gave out stimmies, free stimmies. And they were proud of it. I'm voting for Trump. He the one who gave me the stimmy.
And it
That's what.
just came out. They just gave them out in October, the beginning of October.
But then when it was the Democrats' turn to give out stimulation stems, it was like, nah, I gotta pay this back in January. So people went over to the other side because he's like, you ain't gotta worry about paying this back. He go free money.
But then, this is what I would say.
But now,
This is
but
what
now
I
they
would say.
mad because they ain't getting their food stamps next month.
Right.
I ain't even gonna touch on that.
Because
But
we don't look at the bigger picture. We look at right now.
and I agree with you. That's what I was just about to say. This, do we understand what policy and programs and grants? Do we understand what all of those things are? Because depending on who these people are that we put in office is going to depend on what type of programs and grants and policies we're going to get.
Right.
Let's say, like even with public safety, the Safer Grant helped public safety in certain municipalities. And those municipalities was the one that was, that dealt with transitional aid that needed the most help. So if you didn't get the SAFER grant, you didn't get a lot of police and fire to be hired. But I remember when they said, like, when Trump came into office, he decreased the SAFER grant. So there was a lack of police and fire that came into the cities. Like I said, do the people that scream poverty and scream economic empowerment, do they fight for the residency policies in the city to have more police and fire that's supposed to, because the consent decree is gone now. But for years, the consent decree stated that the police and fire is supposed to represent the population of the city. Is that what we see? Of course not. But do we fight for that? But let's say with somebody like when Jeff Jones was in office, they were fighting because they didn't put down enough salt. But the departments didn't reflect the population of the city. So you could have had, 200 to 300 people per department deal with economic empowerment, who buy homes in a city, which will pay into the taxes, which will go back into the economic circle. Not everybody is going to buy homes in the city of Patterson that work for the city of Patterson, but a lot will. I grew up in the towers. The one thing that I always said is, if I make some money or if I get to a certain place or whatever, I want to buy a house up by Eastside Park. I got a house up by Eastside Park. You know what I mean? So some people stand by, what their thought processes were.
Right. But other
to
people
keep that dollar amount in the economic circle. But what I'm saying before you even go, Derek, let me just finish with this. Do we fight for that? Which means that because we can't just put it on the politicians, we got to put it on the people too.
Right.
Is the people actually fighting for what they actually want? And I say a lot of times, no, they don't.
No, I think I say yes, they are. They do fight what actually want, but they don't. Like I said, there's no view of the bigger picture. I want this now. It's my money and I want it now. We look at it. We are in a Instagram, Insta moment place. Instagram,
I'm confused.
This is where this is where we are. This is where we are. We want it now. So we don't look at the bigger picture. Don't tell me about what's going to come. What's going to come a year, 6 months, 7 months down the line. Don't talk to me about that, because what I'm talking about now is the decision I'm making right now off of where I am now. What have you done for me now? So not what you've done for me lately. What have you done for me now? And if you are in a mindset of that, then that's what they're fighting for. They want instant. Give me mine now. I don't want to wait for it later. And then now I spend what I got now, and now I'm sitting with my hand out later. And as things get cut, things get taken away, and now I'm angry. But I could afford this back 6 months ago, for real. But we are, yep.
So let me ask you this. So are we saying now that there aren't people that vote for popularity and nepotism?
No, absolutely not.
Are we saying that there's people that they don't understand what the residency policies are in our cities? We don't understand those things.
A lot of people don't understand. The Bible tells us.
I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that.
Hold on. I just had to put the Bible in it. Without vision, without vision, the people shall perish.
But what I do understand is because I have an active, let's say I have an active social media, right? You know that. I get a professional board of what is more paid attention to and what's not, right? What's more paid attention to on my page is entertainment, things that's funny. Everything that's educational, it doesn't get the same traction. Because a lot of times we don't want to deal with that. We want what's funny. We want butt and boobs. We want laughing and we want jokes and we want all of these different things. I mean,
Absolutely.
so what I'm saying is we need to pay more attention to what affects our lives than just what's funny. And I
Yeah.
mean on a grander scale of how we eat, how we live, from the houses to our vehicles. Because my taxes go up every year. My taxes go up every year. You know what I mean? And even if, some people, they look at, how much their rent is and such, and you know what? I feel for you and I respect you. But even if I paid my mortgage off, right? Even if I paid my mortgage off right now,
You still
your
got
rent is my taxes.
right.
That's what my taxes are, what your rent is. So I understand exactly what you're saying and what you think and what you feel. But you can have a lot of people, they don't even attach themselves to it until it really affects them directly. And I think that's the biggest problem. The people that's not affected directly because it's not landing on their lawn. So when I ask that question, you say, I think that people do fight. I think that a lot of people don't. I think they don't.
Right.
For, the greater cause because it doesn't affect them directly right now. But we have to, even if it ain't our nephew, even if it ain't our son, that's why I love Black Lives Matter. That's why I love Zelly. Zelly's gonna fight for you even if he don't gotta know you. But Zelly's gonna come out and fight for you. And I respect that. That's why I love people in positions to where it ain't gotta be their cousins or their brothers or their folks. But they gonna ride. And I respect those people more. That's like with people like a Carla. That's what people like a Kamisha. That's Kamisha Rogers and Carla. That's why I love those type of people because they don't have to be your friend to fight for you. They fight for the cause. They fight for the overall everything of community, the betterment of my community. And that's what I respect. And I don't got a problem with telling you if I don't care for you. Sometimes I just choose to, take the higher ground. But don't try me. Don't poke the bear. Because that whole question, rather be in the woods with a black man or a bear, you don't want to be in the woods with that bear. Because you're going to have a problem. So don't poke the bear on that. So I get it. And if I ever choose to run, let me tell you this. If I ever choose to run, all of those people that's on that nonsense side, whatever the nonsense side is, the person that you know now is going to be the same person, if not worse, that you get then. Because I'm not going to play with my people.
Right.
I'm not going to play with my people. Understand Mike Jackson. I understand him. He is a grinder. He's going to come for your head. I'm telling you that. He's going to come for your head every time. because he love his people. So if you ever see my name in the election, you better understand that you got a problem coming if you're on that side of nonsense. And I digress again.
Okay, because our hour is up. So November 4th is election day. We will not, Keep the Conversations will not be going live on that day. So hopefully everybody goes out and casts their votes for who they choose to vote for. And we shall see what happens.
We shall
But
we shall see what happens, and if it doesn't, and if what happens is a factor of because we didn't come out and vote. I don't want to have these conversations with people who chose not to vote, who chose to stay on the sideline. But
well, hopefully they come out.
now
I agree with
everybody,
Derek. I agree with you, Derek.
but that's why we have to, as a people, we have to reconnect the disconnect. We have to stand on the data. We have to look at the data and and plan according to the data.
Mhm.
We as the people, as the voices, we have to be the ones that say, okay, and set realistic goals. Okay, this year's election only saw 1,300 people. So now we need to go out to now during, like you said, the election season never ends. But we need to, as the people, begin to galvanize and say, okay, we had 13. We only got 13. We had 1,300 total votes in this election. So we need to shoot. We need to shoot to change that by 20%.
Absolutely.
That's
Because in our last election, in the last election that they had, there was not that many voters that came out to vote,
less than
and
20%.
that's the problem. Because
Of course, it's a
I just
problem. You know
I
what?
just
You know
want
what the
to
big problem?
wait. Let me look this up.
The biggest problem is, as we saw with this election, because because of the lack of voting, the very people who are running don't have to spend their time with you and talking to you
Hmm.
because their time is better spent in places that actually vote.
All I can say is in our last election, now mind you, Addison got 160,000 people approximately that live here, and only 39,403 votes. That's it. That's how many people went out of
No, that's not even people.
160,000.
That's not even the people that went out to vote. That's overall voting. That's mail-in ballots and people. If you
Hmm.
subtract the mail-in ballots from that 39, it's even less.
But yet people will say we go out and vote. We don't. Not at all. And then we complain about everybody that's sitting in the seats that they sitting in.
I agree.
Without, without vision, the people perish. But you have to be willing to test the visionary to make sure that is even the vision is even something that's doable. Because you can meet people who talk a good game and can give you a vision and have you ready to spend and have you ready to put your money behind it. But then because all they're doing is giving you the basic data or the basic figures, which sounds easy,
Mhm.
right? How many times how many times have we actually seen people say, "Oh, I just need 50 people who are willing to go into partnership to do X, Y, and Z." 50 people who's willing to put up $1,000 over a year, and you do the math in your head, and you're like, "Oh, $1,000 in a year, that's less than $100 a month." You got people who are willing, you got visionaries who have the vision, but we have yet to test out, is the vision do it? Was the vision doable? Does this vision make sense, right? When you go to a business and a person comes, if I call Sean and say, Sean, I want you to invest in my business idea, I have to give Sean a credible business plan.
Yeah.
It got to make sense to him. How much am I looking at? How long will it take me to get my investment back? What is
If
it going to? What are you? What are the underlining costs? The underlining figures of costs that you don't see.
that
Just
was my comeback.
right. It has to make sense. We have to start holding people. We got to hold their vision to make sure it makes sense, and
Mhm.
stop holding for people and putting people in places just because we think that 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 they that um that they are for the people. Because just because people say I'm for the people don't mean that they're for the people. And just because I got five other people standing behind me like he's for the people. No, it don't mean that. It just means that they drink the Kool-Aid too. We have to be able to hold people accountable according to the work they've done before we can say that they're for the people. Because there's a lot of leaders who said they're for the people who are really honestly about themselves. Because somebody for the people will make a decision that doesn't benefit them, but get in line with everybody else who they need it to benefit. So we have to stop this giving people the crown of, oh, this person's for the people or this person's for the people, because if you put them in a situation where they got to choose between themselves and the people, there's a good chance that they're going to take care of themselves.
Mhm.
We give that crown away too easily, especially in our community. We give that crown away way too easily, and we have not one time challenged the idea of, or put them in a position to be for the people. Because we got very people in our community who will come out and they will speak against certain things, but they're only speaking against certain things because they're cool with the person who they're dealing with. How many people can call you and don't know you from Jack, who don't know you, you never spoke to him, you never voted for him, you never met for breakfast, you never went. Roshan had the reach to a certain person. Roshan can have a larger reach than somebody else. So Roshan can say, "Oh yeah, he's for the people." When I call him, he pick up the phone. But understand that Roshan's reach may be longer than Rafiki's. Rafiki may can pick up the phone and don't even know who to call. But if Roshan called, like you, like I want to call Roshan. Roshan like, well, I got somebody I can connect you with. Roshan called like, hey, yeah, this is my guy. He having the issue. And that very person who wears the crown of for the people will say, "Nah, I can't help you because he runs with this person. That he runs over there with them cats. Tell him to go to see those cats." That's not a person. That's not a man. That's not a man nor a woman for the people. Because when you wear that crown, that means no matter who you rock with, If you being disserviced, I'm at the front line. And we don't have too many people, especially lately, we don't have too many people who are willing to do that unless it benefits them somewhere. So we have to get to a place to stop giving away that crown so easily. Stop giving away titles to people so easily. Stop calling people and thinking so highly of people so easily until we tried them in a season that doesn't benefit them. I know of a person who people talking about all the time, like, oh yeah, I call this person anytime I need her. Until that one time when she wasn't needed anymore. She didn't need you because she wasn't running for nothing. And then you reach out like, hey, I need this going on. Like, well, I can't help you, sis. So there ain't nothing I can do for you.
Fact.
We gotta stop, and we gotta start holding. We gotta stop giving our power and our voices to leaders who are self-serving. I'm gonna fill my cup up first, and then once my cup is filled, I am here to help anybody else if I still got time. And a big piece of that, let me tell you, this is the last thing I'm going to say because we 16 minutes over. The last thing I'm saying, let's get back to family. The last thing I'm going to say, your hand claps.
I like it. I like it. Well, all right.
Last thing I want to say is, if you want to know who's really about doing the work, find that person who's willing to work with everybody. Because when you find people, when you find people who are only willing to work with certain people, they're not really about trying to get the work done. Because if I need to break down a wall, I need as many people with hammers that are available to come help break down that wall. I don't handpick. When I need a wall to go, I don't handpick who can come with a hammer. I put out APB for everybody. This is an all hands on deck. Come bring your hammer. We got a wall to get out of the way. When you got people who are willing, who will sit here and they handpick who they want to bring their hammer, we already know. Number two, you want to find somebody else. You want to make sure that a person for the people. Who are they building up to take the reins when they get tired? We got so many leaders who've been sitting in leadership positions but ain't building nobody else up to take the reins. The only reason they're going to get their position or get in a position, you can get that position, is after you pry it out of their hands, they dead cold hands. And with that, I'm going to say, let's get back to family.
All righty. I think Deacon needs another hand clap. And our hour is up. We thank everybody for tuning in to tonight's conversation. We appreciate y'all. Once again, we will not be. What?
You gotta let me finish as well.
All right, I was gonna let you finish. You didn't let me finish.
I didn't want to. I don't want my own. I don't want my own lane. I don't want my own lane. I just want to.
We end the show with you.
No, we don't.
We do.
Not all the time.
Well, I end the show. But I'm go ahead, Sean. Say your piece, my brother.
I just want to say, my guy, Slaughter. Appreciate that. 100%. The only thing that I would add to that is what you ended with. I 100% agree with. I just want to add to, not taking away. I want to add to. You know, you're my guy. Sometimes you take away the camera, you take away the microphone,
Mm-hmm.
you'll really see who these people are and who they really want to advocate for. You'll really see the work that they want to do. I truly believe that. Some people just do the work to be acknowledged, to appease the people and add to their agenda. But take away the camera and people because there's a lot of people in the background that's doing work, you know, like the Nancy Greers, like the Paulinas, and you know, all of those people that's doing work behind the scenes that you have no clue of who they are.
Right.
Because there's no cameras in their face.
Right.
No, there's no microphones and there's no any of those things. So you got a lot of these people that's doing work, not just because it's work to be done, but because I got an agenda. And I need to document this.
Mm-hmm.
So my agenda can be pushed forward. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing that I'll add to it. You know, you're my guy. And I took a step back from the whole political landscape. I took a step back because of what happened, you know, with me kind of publicly, but it was personally. Because I didn't respect it personally because of how I fight for people.
Right.
You know what I mean? How I ride for people. You know what I mean? And I felt like somebody that I rode for didn't reach out to me the way that they maybe should have, reached out to me. And they know that if somebody would have even breathed wrong on their name, I was right there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they know how I ride. And this is the first time that I took a step back into the political landscape. And, you know, Kenyatta Stewart is my guy. You know, Kenyatta Stewart is my dude. I grew up with him. I know him personally. And this platform doesn't endorse, as far as I know. So this is not a candid conversation thing. This is just me speaking in respect. You know what I mean? And you got my word. I'm the son of Vera Ames. Vera Ames is my mom. You know, my adopted mom. As a lot of people say. So they already know that how I come is how I come, and if you come for me, she coming right behind that. So watch your ass. But like I said, Kenyatta Stewart is my guy. Benji Wimberly is always because I've always watched him and I've seen the work that he's done. And a lot of things in the community that his fingerprints are on. I know that he put a lot of work in. And that Valerie Freeman. That Valerie Freeman she's a pit bull in a skirt. And she's for her people. Whoever else that's running, I wish you good luck. Another friend of mine, Mike Johnson, mayor, he's my guy. Anybody else that's running, I wish you good luck. If you do the work out here, I appreciate the work that you're doing. The one thing that I would say is, just because you lose, don't stop the work that you're doing, because now I know that you were just doing it for the campaign. Continue to work. If you really love the people for who the people is and what the people need and what you need to be doing for the people. So after the campaign, don't stop what you're doing, because I've seen that a million times. Do me a favor. Candid Conversations people, do me a favor. Look at the last mayoral election. Look at the last council election. Look at the last council at large election. Look at the last school board election. Look at the last whatever election that's in play. And all the people that ran and lost, how many of them is still doing what they were doing in their campaign
Right.
versus just what they're doing from their heart? That's when you know if it's really real. Those people, if they stopped what they're doing and you ain't seen them ever since, it was never about the people. It was about the position.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was about. It was about the position and how I can put myself in position to build and build and build my agenda and my career. So those people that ran, whether it's assembly, whether it's Senate, whether it's Congress, whether it's mayor, whether it's council at large, whether it's the school board, whatever it is, all of those people that put their hand, they their names in a hat to run. If you don't see them no more, let's get back to family.
All right, beautiful people. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, a wonderful rest of your week. We will see y'all again on, I don't know when we're going to see y'all again. No, we'll see y'all again November 11th is the next time we shall see y'all again. So y'all go out there, rock the vote. I know in the city, early voting has already started on Saturday. If you live in Patterson, I believe the early voting sites are McBride Ave at the fire department, the Heritage. What is that, Carroll? Is that Carroll Street? And the polls are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday. I believe it's 8 to 4 on Sunday. I believe it's 8 to 2, 8 to 6. So, yeah, go out, do what y'all need to do. Early voting ends November 2nd. So, do what y'all need to do. Go out there, rock your votes. And we shall see y'all November 11th.
Reconnect the disconnect.
Love.
Don't give out near turkey. Don't give out a turkey. Don't give out no canned goods. Don't give out no fruit without having a conversation and connecting the disconnect. We got to move intentionally.
And this Thursday and Friday, 52 Front Street, Bronze Heat, in collaboration with NJCDC Youth Center, is hosting a haunted house and Halloween festival. So come out and enjoy.
Skids and giggles.
Giggles and giggles. That name is so it's so funny to me. Giggles and giggles. 52 Front Street, October 30th and 31st. The 30th, there will be no bounce house because it's supposed to be rain, but the haunted house will still be open. But all day on the 31st, there will be a whole Fright Fest, Halloween Fest going on. So come out and enjoy once again. October 30th, October 31st, 52 Front Street, Patterson, New Jersey. Halloween, come out, show out, free bunch of stuff. Just come out and enjoy. Bring the kids.
All right, y'all people. Love, peace, and blessings. See y'all in 2 weeks.